G'day and thanks for watching the latest episode of our YouTube travel series. Sitting pretty on Australia's east coast, Sydney is the capital of the state of New South Wales and the oldest European settlement in the country. I'm Adam Ford, and in this video we'll bring you ideas for 10 amazing things to do in Sydney. We'll get up close and personal with the mighty coat hanger. Step back in time on the Rocks walking tour. Conquer the heady heights of Sydney Tower.
Oh my gosh.
Get arty at a life drawing class in Chippendale. Make for the magical Blue Mountains, and much more. It's full steam ahead to explore the Harbour City. But first, take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more amazing travel ideas. Alrighty, the bridge and I welcome you to fabulous Sydney. Wow, what an incredible day it is down here on the harbour, absolutely stunning. And just take a look at the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Is there a grander sight anywhere on the planet? I don't think so. If you want to get to know the bridge a little better during your visit, you can of course shell out to do the bridge climb. It's 1,300 steps to the top of those soaring steel arches. Alternatively, you can just walk across the bridge, and that is free of charge. It's hard to believe that the Sydney Harbour Bridge is getting close to a century old. It opened in 1932 and an estimated 1 million Sydneysiders turned out to celebrate the event. It takes about 15 minutes to walk from one side to the other on the bridge's eastern side. Now, if you make your way over to the city side of the bridge and take the bridge stairs, you will find yourself in the very heart of one of the most historic parts of Sydney, the amazing Rocks. The story of modern Australia began right here, and I know just the lady to show us around.
Hi, I'm Fiorella. How are you, Adam?
I'm well, thank you, Fiorella. Just start by telling us a little bit about the Rocks.
The Rocks is not only Sydney but Australia's oldest colonial neighbourhood. So, when the British arrived 234 years ago, this is where it all started. First contacts happened here with our First Nations people when the first fleet arrived in 1788. And as we walk around, we cover the main four events of this area, which is the arrival of the British through the convict times till about the mid-1840s. And then around that time, Sydney becomes really huge with shipping and industry. So Sydney Harbour was pretty much a working harbour up until the 2000s. After that shipping period, there's another impact on the Rocks, the bubonic plague, that plays a huge part in what happens here, and with the government resuming the area. And then the next major event for the Rocks is the 1970s, the Green Bands and the Battle of the Rocks. We have our First Nations people's history that is the foundation of this country, 60,000 plus years. How awesome is that? And then you've got that colonial story that is part of it as well. So it's great that we've actually still got it here to show people today.
Tell us a little bit about the tour. What can people expect on the Rocks walking tour?
We sort of start near our office. It's a circle and it's just a really lovely leisurely walk. We stop and we utilise the buildings to tell the story. We walk down Suez Canal and Nurses Walk, through to Greenway Lane, to Kendall Lane, down to the harbour. So if you were to explore this area by yourself, you'd find places, but mostly on our tours, we will take you to places that you would never really find by yourself. And then of course, because we give the story, it gives it a bit of meaning.
Sydney has plenty of characterful colonial era pubs, and while the title of oldest pub is hotly contested, the Lord Nelson Brewery Hotel is certainly right up there. Established in 1841 and conveniently located between the Rocks and Barangaroo, the Lord is still trading in its original digs and brewing beer on site. Take the opportunity to raise a glass to this venerable rub-a-dub and enjoy a classic pie with mash and mushy peas. And that's a sneak peek at our next stop. Thanks to our good friends at TFE Hotels, we're spending the first half of our stay at the fabulous Vibe Hotel North Sydney, which offers upscale accommodation and a contemporary feel. The hotel has all the amenities you would expect, including a fitness centre and rooftop pool. For the second half of our stay, we'll pop on some rose-coloured glasses and relocate to the gorgeous Adina Apartment Hotel, Sydney Chippendale. From the colourful decor and funky furnishings to the fully kitted out kitchens and beautiful bathrooms, there's a lot to love here. Special mention to the shaded Palm Springs style communal courtyard, complete with a pool and a giant inflatable pink swan. Sydney Tower is visible from all over the city and operates in conjunction with 3 other top Sydney attractions. Tip: a combo ticket will save you big bickies. The tower opened to the public in 1981 and is the tallest structure in Sydney. If you're game, you can do the Skywalk and take it outside.
Here we are up on the Sydney Tower now. We're 268 metres above the city streets, so that's pretty amazing in itself. And then we've got a glass platform about a foot in front of me, which looks straight down onto the street, which I'm too terrified to step onto because I'm not great with heights. But gosh, what an incredible view. Absolutely breathtaking. And it's a 360-degree view, so you can literally walk around the tower and view everything, including the east, the coast, the harbour, you've got the city, you've got the bridge there, you've got the Opera House peeking through, the Blue Mountains in the distance. It's just extraordinary. And if you're not too good with heights, as everybody knows that I'm not overly great with it, it all feels pretty solid, which I'm more than happy about. Wow.
Now, you'll no doubt have heard of New York's High Line, the repurposing of a disused elevated rail corridor as a community park. But you may not have heard of Sydney's Goods Line. Situated in Ultimo, this was once part of a freight line that ran from Central Station to Darling Harbour. It's now a public thoroughfare and recreational space and is dotted with remnants from its former life. You can access the Powerhouse Museum from the Goods Line or continue on to Darling Harbour, which is where we're headed next.
Now, coming to Sydney and not doing a harbour cruise is a bit like going to London and not seeing Big Ben. It's not the done thing. And there are lots of ways that you can get out on Sydney Harbour, and it doesn't have to cost the earth. The cheapest option is probably Sydney's iconic ferries. I've opted to push the boat out, if you'll pardon the pun, on a lunch cruise, and I am ready for some wining and dining, departing from Darling Harbour.
We're cruising with Journey Beyond, which operates a spacious 78-foot luxury vessel. The cruise is superb value and includes drinks and a 2-course a la carte lunch, prepared and served by a team of chefs and attentive wait staff. Meal orders placed, we're soon underway and soaking up the beauty of one of the world's most famous waterways. Our captain provides commentary on points of interest along the way. The meal itself is outstanding and includes a to-die-for dessert. All in all, this is a fabulous experience and is not to be missed. Now, culture vultures are in for a fine time here in Sydney. You've got some world-class galleries to check out, and one of the things that I love about staying here at the Adina Chippendale, aside from the lovely Palm Springs vibe, is the fact that you have 5 or 6 local galleries within walking distance. But why be an onlooker when you can be a participant? Come with me. Peach Black Gallery is located just a short stroll from the hotel and offers regular life drawing sessions. I'm meeting owner and resident artist Matteo Bernasconi to find out more.
Oh, my name is Matteo and this is Peach Black Gallery. Actually, we are here in my studio at the moment. My work is all about human conditions. That's why you see a lot of portrait, figurative work, but I like to keep it open. I like when they make you ask questions rather than give you too many answers.
Matteo runs the life drawing sessions and visitors are more than welcome.
Yeah, the class is really simple, really informal, really kind of casual, and there is a mix between people that never draw and really good artists, a good balance. And it's quite addictive. It's almost a meditation because for 2 hours, no distraction, no phones, no anything, and you're really just you and the model and your art. But what I do for the beginners, I always try to help, giving advices and tips, so it's really open to everyone. I provide everything, paper, charcoal, everything they need, so they just need to come here.
For session dates and details, check the Peach Black website. Now, we generally try and squeeze at least one day trip into our videos, and in Sydney's case, it's well worth devoting a day to exploring the stunning Blue Mountains National Park, roughly 100 kilometres west of the city. You can easily train it to the mountain's hub town of Katoomba, but we're thumbing a ride with FJ Tours, which operates a daily sightseeing tour from Sydney with selected hotel pickup. The tour covers all the key sites, including the iconic Three Sisters at Echo Point. It also visits famous Scenic World, home to the epic Scenic Railway, the world's steepest passenger rail service. Now, no visit to the Blue Mountains would be complete without a visit here to Scenic World, one of my all-time favourite tourist destinations, especially as a kid. And no visit to Scenic World would be complete without a ride on the Scenic Railway, the world's steepest railway. Now, while these carriages may be brand new, the thrill, look at that, is still the same. Wow. Back in town, we wrap up this video on famous Bondi Beach, the spiritual home of Sydney's surfing culture. If you've always wanted to learn to surf, this is the place to give it a go. Just tell us first of all, how hard is it to learn to surf? Because people might think it's quite hard.
Yeah, so in terms of learning to surf, I guess it's like anything. You can pick up the little things really quickly, learning to stand up on a board. Usually everybody kind of gets to their feet in their first lesson. I'd say 90% of people figure that out. Unfortunately, going from that level to a professional level takes a few more years. But most people get to their feet the very first go they go surfing with us. We have a really easy technique that seems to work really well for everybody. So at the start of the lesson, we like to, introduce ourselves. We do a bit of a stretch and an introduction. And then from there, we teach you guys how to lay down on the board on the beach, teach you guys how to stand up on the board on the beach. And once you're a really good sand surfer, we get you in the water and we actually practice everything we learn on the sand in the water.
Talk to me about ages. Like some people might say, oh no, I'm too old to go and do a surfing lesson on Bondi Beach. What's the deal there?
I once did a lesson with 3 generations. So I had a kid who was about 8 or 9. We had the mum who was in her 30s and the grandmother who was in her 70s. Anyone can start surfing at any age. And that's why we keep it as safe and fun as possible.
I just saw one of the guys get upright going behind you.
Oh really? Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing about surfing. You could watch an episode of something on Netflix in an hour, or you could learn to surf in an hour. Like, how cool is that? Yeah.
For more ideas for amazing things to do in Sydney, just head to our website.